Hello, this is Bill Terra. Over the past 15 to 20 years, there's been a huge change in the social understanding of nutrition. The modern food industry has not only been publicly exposed as corrupt, but the weight of scientific inquiry has proved that their toxic products are a major cause of death in America and around the world. It is only the weakness of the medical and political establishments that have slowed down public education and reform of the industry. Change is slow, but it's coming. Given the weight of information on the dangerous effects of our food, we face a particular challenge, and that challenge is defining the future of nutrition. If what we've been eating is harmful, how do we define a healthy diet? What criteria can we use to guide us into a better future? Over 50 years ago, when I became aware of the importance of diet as a cause and possible cure for disease, one thing stood out for me about the macrobiotic approach. It seemed that those foods that were best for individual health were also those that caused the least environmental damage, were the most economical, and were the most beneficial for the practicalities of storage and transport. Over the years, those features have become even more important. If health is a state of balance or homeostasis with our environment, we have some serious questions to answer, because the world is changing. Global warming, economics, population density, and a wide variety of factors mean that the environment that we must now live in and must create balance with is the whole world. As a competition for food becomes more relevant, so does the issue of local and regional food security. Anyone who's traveled knows that what humans eat is becoming more and more international. Now, much of that is sad in terms of quality, but it is true nonetheless. This will be a trend that will continue, but hopefully it can morph into an international healthy diet rather than a commercially designed one. Macrobiotic nutrition advocates regional and seasonal eating to work toward creating balance with where we live. And this reduces food waste, lowers environmental effect of food transportation. These are important issues and still must be acknowledged, but we are no longer settled into a unique biological niche. The whole world is our home, and our food needs to respond to the needs of that world. We have changed from forager to farmer to world citizen, no matter how much we resist. We really have begun to consume our planet. So, what considerations might decide our future? Let's take a look at a few. The first is the chemical composition of our food. But this is straightforward and mostly decided. The range of nutrients, we need to have food that are nutritionally dense rather than calorically dense, and foods that are suitable for digestion, for efficient digestion. The yin-yang influences, which macrobiotics brings to the table, have to do with season and climate. And this is particularly important for the perishable foods, fruits and vegetables, so that we cut down on the food waste and cut down on the transportation. The ability to choose food according to our activity. This might be reflected in, for instance, our protein choices. Our energetic classification. As education spreads, insight into the experienced effect of foods will become more common. The ecological impact. Organic quality, of course, and what about food transportation? How far do we have to ship our food? What is the impact of the food that we eat on soil and water? What about sustainability and food security? All of those issues are important. And the psychological impact. First and foremost might be the honoring of sentience. We can't move forward with a nutritional program that's based on death. Honoring nature, being in alignment with nature and with natural process, and compassion for others. We often at times are not aware of the people who produce our food, and some of that, unfortunately, in the modern world has to do with slavery, and it has to do with with the abuse of people who are poorer and live in poorer countries. We're not victims when we avoid our favorite food in order to have a more ethical approach to eating. And mindfulness, just paying attention, being aware of our food, where it comes from, what it represents. These are all things that are important and must be factors in deciding where we go and how we make decisions about nutrition. Nutrition is the study of how we relate to our environment through our choices of food and how those choices affect both internal and external health. They're about homeostasis. It's a myth that there's a great disagreement about what a healthy diet consists of. The essentials of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, and vitamins are easily available in a diet comprised of plants only. Most plants and microorganisms can synthesize all 20 of the standard amino acids that are needed to form protein. Animals, including humans, are unable to synthesize all of them, and so must obtain some of them from the food that they eat. So any amino acids that are needed and cannot be synthesized are referred to as essential amino acids. Humans need to obtain 8 amino acids exclusively from the food they eat. And some plants contain all of these essentials, including quinoa, buckwheat, soybeans, chia seeds, and hemp. Combining rice and beans is one of the most popular combinations for making sure that we're getting the full combination. And it's used in one form or another in many cultures. The key is to consume a variety of plant foods and to include both whole grains and beans on a regular basis. This is because while all plant foods contain some of the essential amino acids, there are only a few that contain all. Dietary diversity allows the body to construct protein as it's needed. That is why grains and beans are part of a healthy diet. The macrobiotic approach seeks to assist the body to recover from nutritional stress, which is often the result of the modern diet, and return to a biological balance. In the process, the body can generally recover its own self-healing capacity. So people commonly experience a natural recovery of health and, in some cases, a complete remission of serious symptoms. Since macrobiotics is a wide-ranging philosophy, different interpretations exist. Some interpretations fail to address the environmental, social, or ethical issues that I feel are important in developing a more comprehensive approach to nutrition. The dietary approach that Marlene and I use at MacroVegan is a fusion between all of those values I've been discussing with you. We present them as the macrobiotic human ecology diet simply to distinguish it from other points of view. This chart shows some examples of foods classified of extreme yin and yang. On the yin side, these foods include some of the major contributors to inflammation, also producing spikes in blood sugar, and foods that undermine the immune functions of the body. The effect of some of the fruits and vegetables that are listed here can be altered through cooking. Included here are simple sugars and products containing them, many tropical fruits which are extremely acidic, such as pineapple, tropical nuts which are high in dense oils and fats, highly concentrated vegetable oils, and dairy foods. On the other side, the yang stressors, these are animal-sourced foods, and they're difficult to digest. They have no fiber and are loaded with fats that impede blood circulation and contribute to heart disease, stroke, some cancers, and a variety of other ailments. These extremes mean that the body is in a constant state of labor in order to digest, assimilate, balance, and excrete food not suited for healthy function. The first step in creating health is certainly to simply avoid the harmful dietary elements and choose out of what's left. That leaves us in this no-stress zone. The low-stress zone is characterized by the use of whole cereal grains, beans, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, as well as sea vegetables and probiotics. Cooking is used to soften fiber, to allow the release of valuable nutrients. and the use of raw vegetables provide nutrients that are heat sensitive. Fermented foods supply probiotics. This diet is most closely approximating the diets followed by our collective ancestry going back over 20,000 years. There is plenty of evidence that cereal grains were the staple food for at least some people long before domestication. The people at Ohalatu on the shore of the Sea of Galilee ate wheat and barley during the peak of the last ice age, more than 20,000 years ago. That's more than 10,000 years before those grains were supposedly domesticated. Food choices is as much about what is available to be eaten as it is about what a species evolved to eat. And just as fruits ripen and leaves flush and flowers bloom predictably at different times of the year, foods available to our ancestors varied over deep time as the world changed around them, from warm and wet to cool and dry and then back again. These changes are what drove our evolution. We have learned to live off what surrounds us. Traditional human foragers managed to earn a living from the larger community of life that surrounded them in a remarkable variety of habitats, from near polar latitudes to the tropics. Few other mammalian species can make that claim. The results are that we are not only omnivorous, but also can survive on a very broad variety of foods. But this doesn't mean that we should. Mere survival is not health. Our adaptation to the environmental and social needs for a healthy world means that our next phase of evolution needs to be conscious. We are all collectively making decisions about how the world will be for future generations. It's an exciting and challenging project, and what we eat plays a huge role in that future. So please join Marlene and I in the creation of a healthy world for humans and non-humans alike. Thank you for listening. Be well. Bye now.